Throughout human history, few empires have achieved the depth of global influence held by the United States, a nation separated from other continents by vast oceans, yet capable of projecting power worldwide. With a landmass of 9.37 million square kilometers, it is the fourth largest country in the world. How did it evolve into the world's leading economic and military superpower? I am producing a video series to explain the history of the United States. This is the first episode. We begin with the Pre-Columbian Era, the first inhabitants. Currently, the widely accepted early settlement theory suggests that approximately 25,000 years ago, the first humans arrived in the Americas via the Bering Land Bridge. These early inhabitants, known as Paleo-Indians, gradually spread across North America. Around 11,500 BC, one of the earliest cultures, the Clovis culture, appeared within present-day U.S. territory, characterized by their distinctive Clovis spear points.
By 10,000 BC, indigenous peoples had populated most of North America, differentiating into hundreds of distinct tribes and cultures. Initially relying on hunting megafauna like mammoths, they shifted to the American bison as their primary food source following the extinction of large animals. Around 8900 BC, the Folsom culture emerged in the central region, likely originating from the Clovis, marked by their own unique spear points. By 6500 BC, the archaic Southwest culture began to develop diverse survival strategies, including agriculture and unique pottery styles. Around 5000 BC, a group of Na-Dene speakers migrated from Asia, likely by boat. They initially settled in the Queen Charlotte Islands of present-day British Columbia, moving along the Pacific coast and inland, establishing seasonal villages for summer fishing and winter foraging. These groups evolved into the Athabascan language family, eventually splitting into three branches: Northern, Pacific Coast, and Southern Athabascan.
The southern branch of the Athabascan family gave rise to the Apache and Navajo tribes. Today, Navajo is the most widely spoken language of the Na-Dene family. During this same period, other groups, such as those speaking Siouan and Algonquian languages, as well as the ancestors of the Pueblo peoples, settled across the American West. Around 4000 BC, tribes in the Appalachian region developed early Iroquoian languages, ancestors of the Seneca, Cayuga, and Oneida. By 2000 BC, the cultivation of maize, or corn, began in the southwest, followed by beans and squash. Around 1000 BC, groups settled in the Mississippi Central Valley, later moving toward Minnesota and differentiating into the Dakota and Lakota. This era also marked the rise of the mound builders. By 600 BC, a culture known for constructing earthen mounds arose in the Ohio region. Around 100 BC, a flourishing trade network, often associated with the Hopewell tradition, developed, covering a vast territory. However, by 500 AD, this culture was absorbed by broader regional developments.
From 800 AD, the Mississippian culture rose to prominence in the central and southern United States, famous for building massive earthen mounds. Its crown jewel was Cahokia, near modern-day St. Louis, which boasted a population of roughly 20,000 at its peak in the 12th century. Meanwhile, starting around 900 AD, the ancestors of the Pueblo people began constructing massive stone structures and cliff dwellings at the intersection of modern Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. Notable sites include Pueblo Bonito in Chaco Canyon, inhabited between 828 and 1126 AD, and the dramatic Cliff Palace, built between 1190 and 1260 AD. This period also saw the rise of powerful tribal confederations. Around 1450, Iroquoian-speaking tribes, including the Oneida, Mohawk, and Seneca, united to form the Iroquois Confederacy. As they expanded, smaller tribes like the Osage were forced westward. Around 1500, Shoshone groups crossed the Rockies to settle the plains. By the 16th century, a splinter group moved south, becoming the formidable Comanche.
We now enter the Age of Exploration and Early Settlements. In 1513, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de León became the first European to land on the U.S. mainland, naming the region La Florida in honor of the Spanish Festival of Flowers. Spanish settlement attempts were initially disastrous. In 1526, San Miguel de Gualdape failed due to disease and a slave rebellion. Subsequent expeditions, such as Narvadez's in 1528, ended tragically. In 1540, Francisco Vázquez de Coronado led the first European expedition into the American Southwest, reaching as far as Kansas. Success finally came in 1565, when Spanish Admiral Pedro Menéndez de Avilés founded St. Augustine. It remains the oldest continuously inhabited European established settlement in the continental United States. Both French and English ambitions followed. The French faced early failures at Charles Fort and Fort Caroline, but in 1604, they established a successful settlement on St. Croix Island, birthing the Acadia colony. In 1682, France claimed the vast Louisiana territory.
England's early colonization attempts were fraught with difficulty. In 1585, the Roanoke colony was established in North Carolina, but it failed. A second attempt in 1587, under John White, resulted in the mysterious Lost Colony, where the inhabitants vanished by 1590. Finally, success came in 1607, marking when the 13 colonies take shape. The English established Jamestown, Virginia, the first permanent English settlement in North America. 13 years later, in 1620, the Mayflower brought a group of English Puritans fleeing religious persecution to Plymouth, Massachusetts. After a harsh winter, they famously celebrated a bountiful harvest in the autumn of 1621, the origin of Thanksgiving. Colonial expansion accelerated rapidly. Massachusetts Bay was established in 1628, followed by Maryland in 1632 as a haven for Catholics. In 1636, Roger Williams founded the religiously tolerant colony that would become Rhode Island. Then, in 1681, William Penn founded Pennsylvania as a refuge for religious dissenters.
The completion of the 13 colonies came in 1732, when Georgia was established by James Oglethorpe as a buffer against Spanish Florida and a place for debtors to start a new life. However, not all colonies were English. We must first consider the Dutch and Swedish interlude. In 1621, the Dutch West India Company established New Netherland, with settlements growing on Manhattan Island by 1624, becoming the commercial hub of New Amsterdam. In 1638, Sweden briefly established New Sweden in Delaware, though the Dutch conquered it in 1655. Ultimately, in 1664, the English conquered New Netherland, renaming New Amsterdam to New York. By 1722, indigenous groups were also consolidating power, exemplified by the Iroquois Confederacy adopting the Great Law of Peace. With the colonies established and the map of North America taking shape, the stage was set for a new era. In the next episode, we will step into the mid-18th century to see how colonial cries of "no taxation without representation" evolved into armed resistance, unveiling the prelude to the American Revolutionary War.